What up, is Marcus with Dynasty Football Dad. You're like, why is he so sweaty? Just went on a run. I think it's like almost 90 degrees here, so it is hot. But I got my headphones on. I love these headphones. Not sponsored by anybody. But I also got these sunglasses, brand new sunglasses from Shady Rays. I like those as well. I don't know, they were on like sale for, I think it was like 40% off, 50% off, so like 24, 28 bucks, polarized. I like them. And they actually withstand pretty well. I think they have like a free replacement as well. So sidebar to what you're probably wondering, you're like, well, let's get to the what to do if you're a contender or are you a pretender. So, of course, you always hear the saying contender or pretender. What do you do? What do you think? And really, you have to be honest with yourself or honest with where you think your team is going to be. First of all, are you a accelerant or decelerant? Are you going up or are you going down? So are you an older team that probably doesn't have a super long future? I'm gonna sit down here. Or are you a team that is young, that is willing to compete down the road in a couple of years? So you don't want to tear apart your team. So big thing is if you have 12 teams, you really want to be a top 3 team and really be understanding of where those top teams are. Are you mosquito? Get out of here, mosquito. Are you team number 3 and number 1 and 2 are just amazing? Are they like CMC and Barkley and they got all these top, maybe they got Kelsey? What the heck is with these mosquitoes? Get out of here. So you have to figure out, are you close to being a championship team? There is nothing like being a champion, and so I am willing to sacrifice whatever it needs to be if I think I have a good % chance of being a champion. And it starts now, and it goes all the way to the trade deadline, but I am looking at depth pieces. I'm looking at my biggest weaknesses. I'm looking at handcuffs. I'm looking at all sorts of different kind of ways to become a champion. And so people are like, oh, second pays, third pays. I don't care about, no one cares about second or third. My biggest thing is, can I be a champion? 2-3 years down the road, no one's going to remember, oh, that person got second. We have names on our trophy. I mean, we don't have names on a second place trophy. My name's on a trophy, and that's what matters, is a dynasty championship or a fantasy football championship. You could have, there's been people that have won it 10 years ago, and they're like, well, I won that one time. I never hear people, I got second one time. So, sidebar of what that meant is, like, find out where your weaknesses are. And I would actually rate, especially if you have divisions or conferences, rate what your position would rank in that conference, and then rank it in the league as well. So, like, we have divisions in one. We're 4 teams out of 16. So I would be like, oh, I'm 1-1-2-1. Okay, that's a really good team. I'm second in wide receivers. Then maybe in the league I'm 1-2-4-1. Okay, so I really have 2 awesome positions. And maybe I have awesome positions at quarterback. Maybe I have Pat Mahomes and Kelsey or something along those lines. But running backs, I have really good running backs, and my wide receivers, that's probably my weakest point. Maybe I need to get more depth for wide receiver or a wide receiver 2, or how do I do that? Do I trade some of my 2022 picks, 2023 picks? Picks don't do you any good when you're in the playoff and you have an injury. I will tell you that. I've been there. I've done that. I've held on to picks that have literally done me nothing in the future, or have done me nothing I could have won a championship, but I didn't make the move because I didn't want to give up my 2022, 2023. And I think you can get some of those picks back if you trade those players the next year, the next offseason, and things like that. So don't be afraid to give up the future. Don't be afraid, because if you think you have it now, it may be another 3-4 years before you can be up there again. There's a lot of teams that do really well, and all of a sudden they're not there the next year. So if you're close, go for it. Go all in. Go and get that championship. Don't hold out. That's the biggest thing is don't be super cautious, especially if you have a young team and you think it's going to be the next couple of years. Just go all in for the next 2 years and see what happens. And if it doesn't happen and you get a second or a third, or if you get bad luck in the playoffs, then you're able to probably tear down a little bit and rebuild or reload. But again, always, and this is one of my biggest, probably tools advice. Draft picks get overvalued at times. They really do. Even first, they get overvalued at times and they're bust. Whether last year was Jalen Reagor or Henry Ruggs or all these different other players. In the year previous, I mean, you could even say Miles Sanders has been a disappointment. Josh Jacobs has been okay, but disappointment. David Montgomery has been mostly a disappointment. Pretty much everyone in the 2019 class. I mean, you see every year there's half the picks are not valuable. So get your players now. Get your players, get veterans that if you have a young team that you feel like you need veterans, or get some of these young players. Be willing to go after 2022 first, 2023 first. Like, if you are like, I'm missing that running back, throw 2022 first and 2023 first to the Chubb owner, or to another owner, or a Swift owner that's worried, or somebody else that's worried, a J.K. Dobbins owner, or even if you have to sweeten the pot even a little bit more. Do those moves, because those are going to be such important moves for the long-term future. If another mosquito, if you think that is the missing piece for your championship, I would say don't sell your entire future if you think, oh, I'm going to be 5th or 6th or 7th. Like, that's not what we're saying. This is, are you a contender, are you a pretender? And if you're 4th or lower, I am holding on and just kind of seeing what happens. I'm seeing how the year unfolds. If I start off hot, if injuries happen, and realize I kind of go from there. That is kind of my waiting period. Just kind of see, okay, if I don't necessarily do no trades, but just feel it out. That's the biggest thing. Another thing is never be stationary with trades. If you can help it, always try to keep bettering your team, whether it's taking a player, trading it for a certain value, and then maybe taking that certain value and trading it for a better player. Continue to make these moves that are going to be just these little tiny moves that will keep bettering your team just bit by bit. All right? So this is Marcus Dynasty Football Dads. I will try not to be sweaty next time. Peace out. See you tomorrow when we hit 890.